welcome to Roll and Review, where we talk about all things nerdy and awesome. I'm Jim.
And I'm Alex.
And we're here at My Happy Place Comics, recording in Crystal Lake, Illinois.
You really screwed that up pretty bad.
I do it every time, it's fine. If you've seen the comic news one, you just watched me do that in that video too, so it's fine.
They were so nice to let us do things, and you can't even say their name right.
My Happy Place Comics. Find your happy place at My Happy Place. I did not make that one up. The manager of the store was the one I heard that one from. So don't blame me for that. His name is Corey. He's awesome, but it's his fault.
It's his fault. All right.
Hashtag shipping them.
All right, so in the world of comic book movies today, well, not really even comic book movies, but just general, like, fun movies, the Ghostbusters trailer dropped today. And what do you think about it?
I liked it.
I'm on the fence about it. I feel like there's a lot of things that just feel really forced about it. It's not exactly as fun or, I'm going to say, cohesive as the first one. Because I know that's the vibe they're trying to go for with a lot of callbacks to, like, Slimer and all of that. I don't feel like... it feels forced is what
Yeah. I mean, seeing the cast originally, I was not so excited about the movie. I don't think some of the actresses are particularly funny, and clearly it's a comedy. But watching the trailer, there were a lot of things I was laughing at in the trailer. I enjoyed. Obviously, I'm not going to say it's going to be a great movie. I enjoyed the trailer, which is exactly what the trailer's supposed to do.
Well, that's the one thing. I really didn't have any, like, laugh out loud moments. It was just kind of, okay. Ooh, the ghost looks pretty cool, but the trailer did nothing to get me excited about it. Like, I feel like it's at the same level for me as, like, Batman v Superman is right now, where I hope it's good, but I don't have a lot of faith in it. It didn't do that much for me.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, comparing to Batman vs Superman, a couple of their trailers totally ruined that movie, for me at least, and it was only the final trailer that brought it back. So this being the first trailer, starting off there, it can really only go up.
Honestly, I don't want another trailer. It's a comedy, so more trailers just means they're going to possibly ruin more jokes, and that's the last thing that I want.
This is true. At the same time, it hasn't, it makes me want to go see the movie, unlike a lot of trailers recently have done. So I actually want to see the movie. I want to give this one a shot. I had to laugh at the joke where one of the women gets possessed and another one slaps the ghost out of it and yells, "The power of pain compels you." I thought that was hilarious.
And for me with that, they shouldn't have showed that whole scene. They should have basically just showed, like, her getting slapped or something, and that was it. Just like in, like, a montage scene. You didn't need to show the entire scene because that's probably a comedic moment in the film, but it's just kind of, it didn't do much for me. Like, I don't know why, I just didn't really find it funny. Maybe I'm just a stone-faced blah, but I didn't really find it funny, maybe.
No, but I mean, I think they cut a lot out of that scene for the trailer, and so what I'm hoping is there's a lot of funny things that happen in that scene that we didn't see, because it kind of was a montage. She's possessed. Someone's hanging out of a window.
Yeah.
Someone grabs it, and then she's on the ground being slapped. So there was definitely major cuts in that scene. So I'm not going to say there is more and a lot of funny parts to that scene, but it definitely seemed like there was more in that scene that I can look forward to.
What I'm worried about, I hope they don't have Melissa McCarthy do Melissa McCarthy, because she gets old after a while. It's like, if she is allowed to have freedom, but not just be over the top, pretzel, that gets really old. I don't want to see that. I want her just to be her, because she's really funny.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig is really funny. She seemed really kind of stale. Like, she's trying to be the Dan Aykroyd, king of exposition, who can say all the information and people will still listen to it. I think she's trying to be that character, and it's not Dan Aykroyd. So
yeah. Well, clearly she is, because, I mean, in the trailer, she's put off as, like, no one does astrophysics or whatever, quantum physics or whatever the math and science was that that character does. Like, no one does it like you. So clearly that's the character they're trying to pull it back to.
But one thing I'm also really confused about is in the beginning when they said 30 years ago the team saved New York or whatever it was. And now it's not. But they're saying it's a reboot, but they're inventing all this technology. is there just going to be a lot of homages to the first Ghostbusters, or it's because they've said this is not a sequel, it's a reboot. So I just want to know how they're going to do that without it being really like pushy. Like, hey, there was a Ghostbusters. There's a Ghostbusters. There's a Ghostbusters. I don't really want them to do that because that just gets really annoying. I need this to be. If this is going to stand on its own 2 feet, it has to be its own movie. It can't be, hey, we're part of the Ghostbusters. You like that, right? Because it's not gonna. It's going to alienate the classic Ghostbusters demographic, and the new demographic is not going to like it if it's just stuff that they didn't grow up watching. Because I feel like the movie, like the audience is going for is like the people just younger than us, like who haven't really grown up with Ghostbusters, and that's like not their thing. Yeah. It's like for a new audience. I heard it today on Screen Junkies, the Pitch Perfect audience, and like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But so if there's too much just playing off the nostalgia, it's not going to work for anyone because the old isn't going to like it because they do too much with it, and the new isn't going to get it. So that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried about the same thing. I'm hoping that it is new, and clearly, very clearly, while it's not a sequel, it's not starting over with the world not knowing anything about it, because clearly the Ghostbusters were around at some point. The originals.
That's what I think. They mentioned that in the trailer, but they weren't. It wasn't like they're inventing all this technology. Like it wasn't just we know ghosts exist. This is no, they have to discover that ghosts exist again. That's why I'm kind of like, what are they doing?
Well, we'll see as it comes out. But at the same time, with all that the Ghostbusters did 30 years ago, ghost activity could have kind of screeched to a halt, and something else is bringing it back, and the technology could have been lost without need for it.
Yeah, but one place that I really am confident about this is the director of this movie is the same one who directed Spy last year, and that had a really mediocre trailer and was actually a really good movie. So I'm really hoping that this follows the exact same suit, the trailer being but the movie being good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited for it. I like the trailer. You're meh. But I'm ready to go see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it too. Summer movie should be fun.
Absolutely.
All right, now moving on to Civil War. Everyone's excited for that one coming up.
Yes.
And they dropped 2 new images today: a revamped look at Hawkeye and at Scarlet Witch. What do you think of the costumes?
I personally like the costumes.
You like the costumes?
I think they look really cool.
Let me see here.
They're not like over the top, like super comic booky, which I'm totally fine with since it's live action. We don't need the super comic booky.
Yeah, but I don't want them to go full Matrix like they were doing early 2000s where everything has to be black leather, aka X-Men.
Well, but Scarlet Witch has all that red leather.
Yeah, but
and black leather pants.
But that like fits toward the character though. It's not. It's not like the X-Men who are very colorful. Like we've proven in Deadpool with Negasonic Change Warhead that you can wear the comic booky costumes and it works. So I hope they would more tend to do that than just like we need to make it gritty. We don't need to Nolanize it. We've proven it's good for some things, but don't do it for everything. Comic book movies are supposed to be fun. Superhero movies are supposed to be like you can have fun with it. You don't need to be like this is dark and brooding.
And especially since very few characters are truly dark and brooding all the time.
Oh god. And Superman shouldn't be one of them. Sorry, quick rant. Superman should not be the brooding one.
God, generally not. But sometimes writers are terrible. DC.
Which is why I think Zack Snyder's not getting control of the entire universe. Like that came out a while ago that he's really not going to be getting the reins. Basically, it sounds like Ben Affleck is going to be getting a lot more control over things, especially with the Batman film and all of that.
Which I'm totally okay with because I've liked things that he's produced and been a part of.
I'm sorry, Zack Snyder. You might be a great cinematographer and your movies look great, but I'm not huge what you've done with this DC universe. Hopefully you prove me wrong with Batman v Superman, but the jury's still out, my friend. You've got to prove it. And with that, as we talked about before, those trailers kind of pushed those, for both of us, they pushed us away from the movie. They're horrid. I mean, the first one was cool, and the final one was awesome. The final one was the trailer I was really hoping we were going to have. Yeah. While the middle two
pushed me away from it because, in my opinion, they showed way too much. We didn't need to see Doomsday. We didn't need to see all that.
Guess what? It's a movie. We want to see things in a movie. We don't want to see oh, this is the trailer. Everything that happens. We don't need to know Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. That's not what we want to see. We want to see it happen in the movie.
Which is why I think the last trailer they did super well because, yes, they still showed us Wonder Woman, which was great, but they didn't, have the, is she with you? No, I thought she was with you. And then showed, and then, showing Doomsday and all that.
Like, the bat gun.
The bat gun. Like, all you saw in, like, the new one was, like, some cool shots of Bruce and Clark fighting, or Superman, Batman fighting. You see Wonder Woman jumping into battle.
Yeah,
you see
that was
her
cool.
in very action moments, but you don't see who she's fighting, so it was still kind of cloaked in mystery.
Yeah.
However, the damage was still done from those middle two trailers. So,
and like they did a better job with that. You guys see that 30-second short when you see Superman go in with like the little Superman soldiers during like, the dream sequence, and he just rips the mask off Batman. That was cool. You didn't need that on the trailer. You just needed that.
Exactly.
That left everyone talking about it, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and how the Turkish airline commercials were better trailers. Just having Bruce Wayne and Lex Luthor talking about Metropolis and Gotham were better than the other trailers. Like, that was funny. Give us more stuff like that, DC. Have fun with it. You don't show us your movie. Show us the world. People will be more excited for your movies if you do that. Establish your world like it's an actual place. People are going to like it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think it was really telling when at the Super Bowl, we watched those Turkish commercials because we were together and we went, those were better movies than, or not movies, those were better trailers than the ones they gave us. Obviously before the final trailer was released. But that was just ridiculous. They were fun. However, I have to say, one thing that's really cool that I like what's happening, while they're kind of all ads for the like Omaze non-for-profit group, I think they are. They're raising money for something. But you have like, they're the short videos of, the guy who's playing Superman, who his name I always forget.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Who looked amazing at the Oscars. Like, oh my god.
Oh yeah. But the Omaze videos where he's interviewing people like who would win in a fight, Superman, Batman, who's better, Superman or Batman, and like that jokiness. They had one where Ben Affleck was in the Batmobile at the museum, and people are walking by, and he pops out and is like, "Oh, really? Superman will win? Come on!" And like he's driving around the set, and a tour's going by, and he stops, opens up, and is like, "Hey, who wants to jump in?" And like she invites a guy in. And
that's
drive around. Like those videos are cool.
But
what's got me excited for them?
1 second. Going back to the Oscars with Henry Cavill, you kind of think he was auditioning for James Bond when he came out for that? He came out in that tux in his voice. I'm pretty sure he was auditioning for the next James Bond. Like, I'm all for Idris Elba getting the next James Bond. I think that'd be really cool, but Henry Cavill could do it.
Daniel Craig.
He's basically give it up. He's basically done.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said he would do more. He hasn't totally written it off.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna be. We can't have another Spectre on our hands. We'd have to have something like really good for him to come back.
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure.
Which I did not know this. So, if you haven't seen Star Wars, go watch it.
They can't. It's out of the theaters, not on DVD yet. So,
I would never endorse doing anything illegal. But if
don't pirate the movie.
Yeah, don't pirate the movie. They deserve your money.
Yes, they do. Wait, if you haven't seen Star Wars by now, what is wrong with you? Just if you didn't see Star Wars, it's your punishment to sit here and wait for it to come out on DVD. Because you know what? Oh my god.
And fast forward like 20 seconds, because I'm about to say something which really isn't a big deal at all. None at all, actually. But if you
okay, you're good.
Yeah, you're fine. So. Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
Do you know what his stormtrooper number was?
It's like 007. Oh no, it's JB.
007.
Yeah, that was really good.
I had to laugh when I found out. I was like, of course, his stormtrooper number is.
There's a lot of good jokes in here. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's the only thing I gotta say that reminded me of that.
And today being March 3rd, guess who's still at the top of the box office as of March 2nd?
Deadpool!
Yeah, by over $1 million. Deadpool is still the top of the box office.
Yeah, I think it's at like 600 million worldwide or something like that.
Yeah, at least I can actually, let me look that up.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Makes me super excited. I guess this brings us to a good question. With this rated R movie, what do you want to see as a rated R movie?
But before we do that, how's this going to affect Hollywood with superheroes and R ratings? What do you think is going to happen? Because I already see, like, with the Batman v Superman saying a director's cut's going to be R rated, I feel like they're just going to throw in maybe an F-bomb or some swearing, and that's what's going to be the R rating. I don't want to be forced, and I feel like that's what a lot of studios are going to do just so they can hit that R rating. What do you think is going to happen?
At least with Batman vs Superman, I think it's going to get pushed that R rating by more violence or blood and whatnot. If Doomsday's beating the crap out of Batman, you would expect him to be pretty wrecked. Maybe a little more swearing, but I think overall, when it comes to what the studios are going to do, I think they're going to just force movies to be rated R to get people.
Yeah, because looking up Deadpool, $619 million to date, and for an R-rated movie, that's insane.
Yeah,
but that's also going to open the door for things that can be R-rated, and especially if it's a good character, it should be that. So, what property do you want to see get that R rating?
There are a whole bunch of them, and
discounting Old Man Logan, because that's what's going to happen. Probably something with Batman.
There is an animated Killing Joke that was already announced rated R before this came out. So,
those two are off the table. We're not talking about that.
Which makes this question hard because for a long time we were questioning whether the Killing Joke would be rated R.
And I don't know how you can do the story justice if
you can't. I would say if they're really bringing in all of the Marvel stuff, like all those Marvel characters in the MCU, a good Punisher or a Moon Knight, because he's a crazy Batman.
I feel like Punisher is gonna happen, especially with the Daredevil Netflix. I feel like he's gonna go Netflix. You can do whatever you want on Netflix, especially Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah,
great stuff. You should go check it out. Punisher. I think the one thing I'd like to see, especially sticking with Deadpool, is have an R-rated X-Force to the family-friendly X-Men. So then they can run around in the same universe, but they can handle the two different sides. What do you think about that?
That'd be interesting. The one thing I would say against that, though, is if we're going with Cable in X-Force, because we know Cable's going to be in the second movie.
Yeah.
He himself is much more of a Boy Scout.
Okay.
And so I think...
But that still works in an R-rated... There's usually always that Boy Scout in an R-rated movie.
Yeah,
like,
but he's not as gimmicky as Colossus. But at the same time, what I think would be good is for Deadpool to show up in PG-13 movie, like a PG-13 X-Force or X-Men, to be the more family-friendly side, because he does show up in other things, and he's much more family-friendly in a lot of those. It's his own personal stuff where he's really out there.
But one thing I'm glad this R rating can do, and I hope it really makes it happen now, Hollywood, is Dredd 2. Dredd with Carl Urban was amazing. Do you see it?
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, and so did a lot of people, but being the R-rated didn't get the big numbers they wanted. Hopefully now, with the atmosphere, how it is, that we can get a sequel, because it was so good.
It was good. We'll see what happens. Let's see if they pull it out.
They even had a GoFundMe page for it, and I really hope now, with the errors right, and this would fit perfectly in it. It's a character that needs to be R. You can't do a PG-13 version of Dredd. It just won't work, especially the Carl Urban one. He wasn't too afraid of taking his mask off like the Sylvester Stallone. He's perfect in staying in the character. Mm-hmm. We can get a sequel now, and I really hope it happens.
I mean, along those lines, a reboot of Spawn.
Spawn, yeah.
R-rated reboot of Spawn. That's
Yes.
actually really good. I would love to see that.
I was watching another video about how bad Spawn was, and it just reminded me, oh, that just brings up.
Again, a reboot,
So
so you don't have to
bad.
deal with that bad one. And it can totally redeem
So
itself.
bad. A Blade again, especially if you can get Wesley Snipes on board. I would be all for that.
Oh yeah. Even if it's just a continuation of the other Blade movies, 'cause I love those Blade movies.
Yeah.
I would be totally okay with Wesley Snipes coming
Yeah, that'd
back
be awesome.
and being Blade again and being in the MCU as Blade.
I know a lot of people want Swamp Thing as well. That's a character that's been being thrown around just as so obscure. And we had Ant-Man. Why couldn't we have Swamp Thing?
Yeah, but I know at least comic book wise, the Swamp Thing comics are coming to an end, and I don't think they were selling that well. So I don't know if there is a ton of support for it, like there was for.
Have you been on Reddit?
I live on Reddit. I've seen
Swamp Thing is all over the place.
but that's not necessarily a good sample group of all movie series.
You are about to insult Reddit.
We're
We're on the internet right now, and you're about to insult
I'm
Reddit.
not insulting Reddit. I'm
Jim.
saying
Hate mail goes to him. Jim, not Alex. Jim. He hates Reddit. He said it right here.
I do not hate Reddit.
You
I
just
love
said
Reddit.
it.
I'm on Reddit every day.
Send us hate to Reddit.
Please don't downvote me on Reddit. So I'm not gonna say what my Reddit name is. So
I was gonna do it, but I feel like that'd just be really mean.
I mean, it's gonna come out eventually.
Yeah, probably.
'Cause it's my name for everything, so eventually it'll come out. But we can keep that. But it's not necessarily a good sample group to get a complete what's gonna hit for everyone. Because
Now there is Deadpool, but they've proven that works.
well, wait, never mind.
I'm waiting for your counter argument.
Well, see, Deadpool was brought by the fans to Fox. I'm just saying Reddit isn't a good sample group to judge
But there's a
what
lot.
all the fans
It's not
want,
just.
'cause I know a lot
it's
of
a
people
lot
are
of the
not on
internet.
Reddit.
A lot of the internet has been, and I think it can be fun, especially now. If we can have all these random things, they can make a fun Swamp Thing movie.
They could. I'm not saying they couldn't. I'm just questioning if they would because the comics aren't doing so hot. So I'm not sure if they're going to push that now or wait some time before they do it and try to reboot the comics.
Wouldn't it
then
be
with that.
kind of fun with all this? We can get some with Carnage in it. Just see the poster up on the wall. We haven't had Carnage yet. That'd be kind of fun.
We haven't, but we also haven't seen Venom and
We've seen that
Story.
that 70s Venom. Not that's
and Carnage is like the offspring of Venom. So if we're gonna get Carnage, let's at least get a good Venom out first, before we start bringing in other symbiotes.
yeah. What if we had a Venom in a Spider-Man movie and then did a Venom vs. Carnage movie?
That would be interesting. For
What are
sure.
your thoughts on that? I want to hear what people think. Introducing Venom and then having a Venom vs. Carnage movie.
I mean, that'd totally be.
Who would you cast as Venom and Carnage?
Shoot. Oh man, I don't even put me on the spot. On this.
Yeah, I am.
I'm not sure. There are a lot of good people who could play both.
Do you want someone big, or is it going to be the suit? Or because we got to be careful on who, because we can't have another Topher Grace situation in our hands. What are we looking for?
I think if we're doing a nasty Venom, it's gotta be some
Big burly dude.
At least when the symbiote's on him, it's gotta be some big burly dude. I would like to see some redemption in the character and see Flash Thompson and do a little bit of Agent Venom eventually.
Okay.
So it goes to a new person and works super well with him, and he's actually able to control the symbiote. So I'd like to see it go that way if you're going to do Venom. Carnage, I don't even know because the character is so crazy. I'm not sure who I want to curse with such a crazy character. Because he's literally a psychopath.
Yeah, who's completely insane enough to really hit that note? It's a good question.
That is a good question. I want your guys' opinion on it. So
Who do
in
you
the
want?
comments below, who do you want?
Pitch us your Venom vs. Carnage movie. Director and actors. Let's hear it.
Absolutely. Now, if they do Carnage, it would be fun to see, Carnage versus Deadpool, Carnage versus
Yeah.
Spider-Man. All these are like, heck, they have a Carnage book going on right now where they're trying to take out, when Shield is trying to take out Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
It's going some really cool, mysterious places, and with Doctor Strange coming out, the whole magical, mystical part of it, it's totally there, and
Yeah, it's
it's
true.
really open for that.
Alright. Yeah, anything else you want to cover?
Doctor Strange is coming out, man. It's gonna be super cool.
Yeah, it will be. Magic is here. And it's Benedict Cumberbatch being crazy, so that's going to be fun.
And it's gonna be a thriller movie, it's not gonna be like just another Captain America type movie with a new skin on it. It's gonna be a thriller. It's gonna be
Winter Soldier was a thriller, though.
Not the way it was an action movie. It wasn't a thriller.
It was a spy thriller. It was definitely a spy thriller.
But I'm also
It was-
referring
it
to
was
the
an
first
action-
Captain America too. Just that model of
Okay,
here's
because
your
the Russos hadn't taken over yet, so you
Sure.
can't compare the two. Because the Russo brothers have been doing an amazing job with it. It's fantastic. And you say it's a spy thriller in the same way the Bourne series is an action movie. It's an action movie, but it's a spy movie. And that's what they were doing, like a throwback to it.
right. But what I'm talking about with Doctor Strange, it's a different kind of thriller than one of those.
I'm excited for it, though.
The director has only done like horror thriller
Cool.
movies, so I'm really excited to see where it goes.
And I like what Marvel's doing with this for their movies, that they're not, every movie has to be the blockbuster type feel to it. They can do all these subgenres. Like The Winter Soldier was an action spy thriller. Ant-Man was a heist movie.
Yeah.
It's like, I like how they can do all these different genres within their universe, and it still works.
And I think that's why they felt fairly comfortable saying that there'll always be MCU movies.
Yeah.
There are always going to be Star Wars movies because they're all owned by Disney.
Yeah. But, quick thing, another R-rated movie that could be a fun, Suicide Squad does well, an R-rated Suicide Squad. I feel like that'd be a perfect
That'd
setting
be-
for it.
That'd be super cool. I am going to have faith that we're too late in production to get them to force a...
Well, I'm talking for the sequel. I'm talking for the sequel.
I'm
I don't want them to
saying
force anything.
I was
sequel.
making sure it was saying.
Yeah, no.
I'm hoping they're too far along to try to force it on this one that's coming out.
Yeah, no. Screw that. No.
So,
Alright, I think that's all we have. Send us a comment and give us a like and subscribe if you like the video.
and follow us on Twitter at Roll Review. And we want to give a special thanks to My Happy Place Comics, who have allowed us to come here and do our taping.
And if you have any posters or anything like that, let us know. We can find some more to add to the wall or anything you'd like to see behind us.
Absolutely. And see you next time.